Hey little birds, welcome back to my channel. And uh, it's a new year, it's a new month, and I'm just so excited about life and everything that's going on in my life. It's super exciting and just a lot's going on, and I got a lot on my plate, but I still want to be here broadcasting on my channel as much as I can. Now, will it be every week? Hopefully, but we'll see. We'll see. So the thing I want to talk about is one that I saw on, it was like a news outlet or, I don't remember, but I had to join because it's about the woman that won the gold medal for the year, not in the Olympics necessarily, but she won the international race for bicycle racing and the indoor track. Excuse me, but I'm not very familiar with bicycling or cycling in itself because it's never been something that I'm interested in. But she is a trans woman that won, and everybody's calling foul, and it's so horrible because she has an advantage. Okay, I have to put it out there. I have to clear this up because so many people have so many misconceptions on this. And I put my message on there. I got called crazy. I got called, oh, you don't know anything, and that I'm a crazy bitch and everything else. And I was just like, call me that, but calling me names does not give you any reasoning. It doesn't give you any empirical proof that you're giving me, showing me that, hey, this is what advantage you have as a trans woman. Okay, biologically, all of us, even if we are the same gender, are very different. My hormone levels might be different than yours. Some women have higher testosterone than others. Does that give them... what are we going to do? Police everyone's hormones in sports now and be like, oh, I'm sorry, you have too high testosterone, you have to compete with the men. Like, what the fuck is that? Like, chill out, because not everyone is the same. Yes, there are innate differences that we all do have, that we can definitely say that it's there is a difference, but ultimately we are all people. We are very different physiologically, and I've done a lot of research on this since I got on that website, and just sounded off and said, excuse me, but hormones change a lot of things. And my point to them was, when you go on estrogen, that muscle power, that muscle that you had is not there. You don't build it the same anymore. You build it like any cis woman does. And it takes you a lot longer to build that muscle and to actually get it. For example, I work at Home Depot. Yes, there's my aprons. Some ones that I had signed when I left stores, but beyond the point, I work at Home Depot, and there's a lot of heavy things. I could pick up easily a 60-pound box by myself without having to ask for help, typically, unless it was, awkward and I couldn't get it. But now with, me being on hormones almost 2 years, that has changed a lot, let me tell you. That was the first thing that I noticed, was the muscle going down it. They hurt all over. I'm like, what the heck is going on? Why am I hurting all over? And I had to Google this and find out, oh, it's my muscles going away. Nice. Why do I get pain with that? But, so, now when I go to pick up, like, I work in paint. To pick up a 5-gallon bucket, I have to do it two-handed when I could do one in each hand. I can't do that now. I have to. It's not a choice. If I don't want to kill myself and just like kill my arm, I have to pick them up two-handed. And is it frustrating? Not really. I don't mind it because it shows that I have definitely changed it. It's very validating for me that my muscles are not the same, so good. The other argument made on that board to me was, oh, men have higher density bone structure. Yes, this is true that men do have higher density bone structures, which means they can have a heavier frame on them. But, here's where that changes. And we all know this. If you look up what estrogen does exactly to your body on a physiological level, it does change your bone density. That's why it is recommended very highly by most doctors that trans women get extra calcium within their diet, and usually through supplements. And if you don't, you run the risk, 20, 30 years down the line, having osteoporosis just like any other woman out there. So the estrogen does start to wear at that. So to say, oh, you have the same bone density, that's not true. If you've been on hormones for a while, you do not have the same bone density you did when you were on testosterone. Testosterone builds muscle. It builds other things. It builds your calcium, apparently, and helps you retain it. Now, when you're on estrogen, it does not. And you get robbed of that. So your bone density does change. Now, the only thing that was brought to my attention that I have looked up that, okay, fine, that one is plausible, but again, it depends on training. It depends on, you working out and all of that. And if you're skilled enough at that sport to succeed, I can't just go into MMA and, start beating on women because I've never had any training. I could be stronger, but I don't work out. I don't have any training. So guess what? I would probably get the shit beat out of me. I'll be honest. And so for everyone saying that, trans women have some advantage, and notice that they never point out trans guys. Hello, there was a trans man boxer that beat another man. So what's the reasoning there? If men have an advantage, then why did he have an advantage? Didn't have an advantage over a trans man. Same reasoning, but they don't look at it that way. They just look at trans women because we were born differently. Who cares? Who gives a rat's ass? And so the only thing that is different is the amount of muscle strands that trans women have, which means that we can have more quick, rapid fire on those muscles. At the same time, we gain some of the, I think it's oxytocin or whatever builds up in your muscles, that goes away quicker with estrogen. So we have a quicker time for us to recover. And there's multiple studies out there on men versus women strength. And unfortunately, we do have more muscle fiber than cis women. But again, we lose all that muscle mass. So unless you are training heavily and you are like out there doing something about it, you know, having more muscle fiber doesn't help you much because the estrogen changes a lot of things chemically within your body. It's not just like you still have testosterone and all those muscle fibers are suddenly going to help you. No. And I beg to differ on that just because we do differ a lot as far as people. You know, have they studied all people? No, not necessarily. I'm sure there are genetic differences for some cis women to have more muscle fiber. So, as far as I'm concerned, that is the only difference that we could have. You know, I've heard, you know, we have bigger hearts, we have bigger lungs. That's not true. It depends on the size of your body. You know, a man that's 5'2" and a woman that's 5'2" obviously are going to have very similar hearts, very similar lung. You know, just suddenly because you're a man have bigger everything. Okay, you do have one bigger thing, a bigger ego. That's what it is. So that's my take on this, that trans women don't necessarily have an advantage. If they are not on hormones, yes, they will have some advantage if they're training, if they've been trained in that sport. But just to take up like a basketball and suddenly be a pro, that's not in reality. That's it won't give you some advantage. So I would like to see studies out there where they compare, you know, trans men to men and trans women to women and see what the hormones actually do in comparison to sports. Because there's so much misunderstanding and misinformation out there. And people want to spout it off like it's fact, and it's not fact. If you say it's fact, back it up with some research. But there's not a lot of research where they're doing studies. What can we do? But thank you for listening. If you listened to the end, great. Please subscribe to my channel, hit the like button, give me a comment. You know, give me feedback. You know, maybe you can't stand that I roll my eyes. I don't know. Just give me whatever's on your mind. Maybe you agree with this, maybe you don't. You know, I take all opinions. I don't try to bash someone unless they're really being an idiot. But until next time, you guys, be your authentic selves, and bye!